The number you have reached, 911, has been changed to a non-published number.
You're listening to UCW Radio. In your face.
Welcome to another segment of UCW Radio, and this is your host, Lou, a.k.a. Falcon Coparis, and I want to thank all of our listeners for the continued support just by listening to the show. Now, today on the show, we're going to have a very special guest. He is a true martial arts leader and the founder of the largest martial arts event in the world. He has been honored from continent to continent by some of the most prestigious martial arts organizations on the planet. And he's still as humble as a man can be, believe it or not. Now, before we bring him on, let's give you some information, because we need to do that on the show. Listeners can actually call in when the show is live. So if it is live, you can call in and you can get patched in. Get a pen and write it down. The call-in number is 323-215-1446. That's 323-215-1446. And even when the show is over, you can actually leave a message. And if it's interesting enough, trust me, it will be played on the show for all to hear. Also, if you're on Twitter, then shoot me out some questions or comments while we're live, and we'll read them off. You'll know who the guest is. You can just go to the site and you can see who's coming up, and just leave your questions there or your comments, whatever you want to do. My Twitter name is Louis Velazquez. That's LouisVelazquez. Follow me and ask away. Now, without further ado, let's patch in one of the most highly respected martial arts leaders in the world and founder of the action martial arts. I mean, it's the event of events that happens in Atlantic City every year. 10th anniversary this year. Now, let's get Master Alan Goldberg. Let's patch him in because he's waiting on the line. Let's get him in here. Alan, welcome to UCW Radio. I want to thank you in advance for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us today. It's an honor to have you on the show.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here. I've been looking forward to doing this interview with you. You've been talking a few times on the phone with it, and I was very excited about it.
Well, you know what? We're excited to have you here. Alan, you've been training in martial arts for close to 4 decades. Your primary style right now is Wing Chun, but you know, so much so that you, as far as Wing Chun, you are the premier Wing Chun authority, not only in New York, but in the United States.
Oh, I thank you for that. I mean, there are a lot of people doing Wing Chun out there, but from what I see, there are not too many people doing it as long as I have been. Oh, I've been doing actually Wing Chun over 37 years, and in the martial arts over 45.
Yeah, well, over that time, your accomplishments are so vast that I'm not going to even attempt to name all of them. But there's one that I will name, which was interesting. You were inducted in the Black Belt Magazine Hall of Fame?
Yeah, 2004, I was inducted Kung Fu Artist of the Year, and I was a little bit surprised. They flew me out there and kind of surprised me with the whole thing, so it was pretty interesting, to say the least.
Well, you were the first, weren't you?
Well, no, I actually wasn't. I was one of the first, if you want to say, Americans or non-Orientals that were inducted. There were a few others, but there's few and far between, let's put it that way.
Okay, so, I mean, that was historic, and at least that's the way I see it, anyway.
It was great. Funny thing about it, my speech was very, very simple when they gave it to me. I walked up there and held up the trophy in the air and just said, wow, 40 years ago, I would think no way, and here I am now, thank God.
Well, that shows that a lot of hard work and a lot of dedication, you can start accomplishing anything you want to in life. And
yeah, you know, I tell people, people look at what I've done over the last, if you say 4 decades or so, and they say, oh, Alan Goldberg's doing that. And I tell people, guys, you can have the same thing I do, you just have to work as hard as I do. That's all it is.
Well, some people are lazy, you know, and they I guess some people just expect things to happen, and you've put a lot of hard work. You've been honored at almost every notable event from continent to continent. And I think that my first question out of the box to you is basically, how did you first get involved in martial arts?
Oh, the typical story, coming home from school one day and I got beat up. and I look for a way not to get beat up again. Let's put it that way.
And what was your
and
first
I just
style?
had met someone and kind of got a little bit involved in it. And as time went on, I just kept getting more and more involved.
What was your first style that you got involved with?
Shotokan karate.
Okay.
I studied with quite a few. Anthony Arena was one gentleman who passed away at this time, and George Cofield, Maynard Minor. So there were some really, decent names that I was with back those days.
Okay, well, when was the point that you actually got involved in Wing Chun? Because that is your primary style right now.
Yeah.
And just a second question with that is that who was that driving force that made your desire grow for knowledge and more in the style?
Well, actually, I was in 5 Animal Kung Fu also for about 11 years, and I had met this gentleman named Master Jason Lau. We hit up a very good friendship at first, and next thing you know, I closed my school up where I was teaching, and we moved everything up to his location. So I went up there in 1974 with the Wing Chun, and we've been together ever since. Matter of fact, this weekend alone we're going out. He's coming into New York. So we're still together, so many years later.
You forge strong relationships, and that's a key thing. People don't realize, in true martial arts, you build a family type of atmosphere with the people that you train with or you trained under.
Oh, it's very important. I mean, unfortunately, we've lost some of that in this industry today. It's a lot about money with people and, sign a contract, put a student up, and that's it. And I've never looked at it that way. I have a very nice group of students from, I have 6 schools all over the country, and I speak to them every week.
Well, that's important, and just to give a little insight on this, you were involved in martial arts in a few different styles, from Shotokan to Kung Fu. You were involved with this for about 15 years before you got into Wing Chun, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, when you got into Wing Chun, how difficult was it to erase everything so you can learn Wing Chun, the true essence of the style?
Not really that hard. When you have a desire, and I saw something I liked, I kind of just left everything on the other table and said, let me eat at this table now.
Okay, because a lot of times people, when they develop habits, or sometimes in some cases bad habits. Some habits are good habits, some habits are bad habits, and they carry it forward into another style because they think, I guess, that a certain move is better than the move in the style that they're taking up. But if you're learning, you need a clean slate.
Right. You got to clear your mind, 100%.
Right. Exactly.
If you enjoy something, you kind of have to go in that direction if you want to learn it and become better at it, no matter if it's martial arts or dancing. Let's put it that way. So it was a choice I made, and I'm very happy I did, very honestly.
You're not going to take the cha-cha and then do the tango altogether,
no.
So it doesn't work.
Not at all.
Now, Alan, is it true that you actually lived in a Shaolin temple for a few years?
Yes, I did. Well, I met Jason. He had opened a location. It was here in the United States, but he opened a location in Brooklyn, believe it or not. He had a 2-story location. It was out of a movie, literally. We built this place up together, and it was 1 floor was a temple, and the 2nd floor was living quarters and a training room. So there was a lot of great things. I mean, that was probably the best part of my martial art career. It was really a lot of wonderful stories. One day we'll sit over beers and I'll tell you about them. Yeah. Not like the president, but we'll tell you about some of the good stories.
No, yeah, I can imagine. I mean, how often does someone have the opportunity not only to learn martial arts, not only to learn from someone great, but also to live that night and day?
Yeah, it was almost 5 years I lived there, and the only thing that separated that, I was getting married at the time, and at that time I don't think my wife would appreciate me still living in the school, so that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. I see that as a slight problem.
yeah, and I wanted to, but it didn't work out that way. But, I stayed there and we trained, 2 o'clock in the morning, get a knock on my door, let's go, get up and work. And we get up, train 3-4 hours, go out to eat in Chinatown, come back, go to work the next day, come back. I mean, it was a great routine. It was never boring. There was always something new happening. And, I can never want to change anything in that lifestyle that I did have.
Those are your memories, and a lot of martial artists today, just hearing this interview, the show today, they're going to get some insight as to how things used to be. It's not like that anymore.
No, not at all.
Okay.
I mean,
if you go back to, when you were training and you were there in the midst of everything, where you had, this is coming off of, Bruce Lee and what he was doing. Then after he passed away, you had a new era of martial artists from Dan Santo. You had, Ed Parker was always big, and you had a lot of people coming out and kind of adhering to tradition. And there's something's changed, something slipped over time.
Yeah, it's called money.
yeah, I can see that.
People just into it for money now. Not everybody. I mean, there are some. I'm very friendly with most of the guys that have kept it. We want to call them dinosaurs. Mm-hmm. And it will change over the years, and there'll be a lot of guys gone and under the table. But we'll do our best as long as we're here and try to keep the tradition up, though.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
Yeah.
Now, Alan, let's move forward. You've been training students for decades. You've earned, and I have to stress this, you've earned. You were not given, but you earned the respect of the creme de la creme in not only the world of martial arts, but in entertainment as well. Now, who are your most notable students to date?
Well, Joe Piscopo is one of my students. Another gentleman named Joe Veneri, who's from the group The Tokens, The Lion Sleeps Tonight, if people remember that song. World champion Demetrius Oaktree Edwards was very famous for the guy that broke Mike Tyson's ribs back in '71. I've people like that for years. I've been training. I've actually had a little bit of training with John Gandolfini, and that didn't work out because he was having some problems at the time, so we never really got going with that. But some famous students, and believe it or not, they become very, very much part of the family also. Another gentleman I had, which he was a doctor, Dr. Richard Pearl, who was the top orthopedic surgeon in the United States at one time.
So that's interesting. Now you have students that have opened up their own facilities, right?
Right. I actually have 6 locations.
Okay. Do you want to go over that? Do you want to make
yeah, I have, I have students all over the country, but the guys that are running places, I have New Jersey, I have 2 locations. Mm-hmm. I have my main location here in New York, in Brooklyn, New York, where my student and I opened the school together. Mm-hmm. I have one in Florida. I have one in California. And I have little offshoots that are not really schools, but guys that are still doing some training on there in Louisiana, Tennessee, West Virginia, Georgia. So we're kind of spread all over the place.
The funny thing is, Alan, this is something, what you're saying to me right now is something that, in order for someone to know this, they would really have to dig for it. You don't showboat about your accomplishments, and you're a very humble person. I think that's fantastic. And your history is very impressive.
I appreciate that. One thing I know we will wind up getting, I publish Action Martial Art magazine, and people always ask me, how come I don't put myself in the magazine? Mm-hmm. And I laugh and I say, people don't want to see me. They want to see other people. Mm-hmm. So I'm 20 years in existence with this, and I've always kept myself out of my magazine other than a group photo, and that's about it, basically.
It's not ego-driven like most things, and with people, whether it be a magazine or a show, whatever it may be, it winds up to be mostly about them and little about the other people, but that's how things fold.
Yeah, you could shoot yourself in the foot very easy. Let's put it that way.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
And I kind of always think that when I put myself out to do anything, yeah, you want to be respected and do things, and I do a lot of, if you want to call martial arts, celebrity traveling. I just got a call just now to come out on Saturday night to an event as a VIP. I can't go to every event, but I appreciate it, and I make sure that people know I do appreciate it. It's an honor for them to even think of me in that manner. I never do what they do, so I have to give them kudos at least and thank them.
Well, but you earn that respect, and that much I do know. You have earned that respect, and I haven't heard too many people say anything negative about you. Anyone of substance, anyway, say anything negative about you.
You haven't spoken to the right people yet.
Yeah.
What I do find out, I have a nice, close-knit of friends, and usually I'm very protective. If someone comes within my fold, if you want to say, I protect them, and they've become loyal as unbelievable. I mean, it's that way. And then I have the ones that want to do what I do and be this and this. Oh, Goldberg's doing this, screw him. And I stand there and I laugh. I said, well, that's from jealousy, because they could be involved with me with just taking the step in. Yeah. It's not a matter of them paying me or bowing to me or anything. It's just a matter of being a human being and doing the right thing for everybody. And, you can part of my crowd. I have no problem with it.
But that's where the ego part comes in, and again, your history and what you've done is impressive. But what I find as impressive is that you are the founder of the largest martial arts event in the country, if not the world. And in January of 2010, it will be your 10th anniversary of the event. In your words, can you tell us, because I'm impressed by that, because how many people can run something for 10 years unless, of course, if you're the IFBB and you're doing bodybuilding shows, you're doing it forever. That's a different story. But in martial arts, you are the guy. It's a monumental feat. I have no doubt that it's going to be the greatest one yet. So in your words, can you tell us about the event and what we can expect?
Yeah, unfortunately, you had to remind me about it. I got a lot of work ahead of me. It's my 10th anniversary. I actually put this event together because I saw a lot of events going on out there, and I didn't appreciate what a lot of them were doing. One of my very dear students also, which I didn't mention before, Phil Morris from the Seinfeld show, if you remember Jackie Chow's the lawyer. He was kind of instrumental in me putting some ideas together to get this going, and we would never, as martial artists, put on a pedestal within the sport industry. We were always secondary.
Right.
And I put this event together to try to give us some recognition in the world of sports, if you want to say. Even though we're not sport-oriented, but we kind of fit right into there some way or another. I brought in wonderful people over the years. This year will probably be the biggest of my events, like you were saying before.
Yeah.
I've had people like Chris Penn at my event before, Chuck Wepner, that was the one they did the Rocky story about. And this year, just to give you a rundown on some of the people showing up, I have Jeff Speakman from Perfect Weapon coming in, Cynthia Rothrock, Michael J. White, who's a star in his own Spawn, he played Mike Tyson movie, Bill Wallace, Joe Piscopo, Joe Lewis, Phil Morris again, Hank Garrett, he's from Car 54 fame, Don the Dragon Wilson, Gary Alexander, James Liu, many movies, Christine Bannon Rodriguez, Orlando Rivera, Chuck Zito from
Oz.
Chuck Zito, actually from Ozra, right?
Yeah, he was on there.
Demetrius Oaktree Edwards, my student, Ronald Duncan, Dan Severin, very unusual, who's a martial artist, Bernie Kerrick.
But Bernie Kerrick, that's the former New York police commissioner, right?
Right. Okay. I have Michael DePasquale, who's also he's one of my co-hosts at the event. David Toma from Beretta fame. So we have quite a few interesting names, and there's more being added on. Yeah. By the time I'm probably finished, we'll have another 6-7 names that we're actually looking at to be added onto that list.
And that's the funny thing, and I just want to address this too, which I find very interesting as well, is that you have a lot of these celebrities coming in, but a lot of these celebrities come in on their own accord.
Right.
You're not out there saying, well, I'm promoting an event and I'm going to pay to do this. You're not doing it. They're coming because they want to be part of something genuine. And people have to understand that this is a genuine event. It's not a pay-to-play situation.
Well, I couldn't afford to bring them all if I was paying them. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, this is a great undertaking, and all these celebrities that are coming in, from Phil Morris to Chuck Zito, they're all coming in on their own accord because of the respect they have for you.
Well, it's a reversal. I have a lot of respect for them. I appreciate their careers, what they've done for the martial arts, a lot of them, and I've only had great times. I've never had a bad instance with any of them. And I have the ironic thing is every year I have the event, they all want to come back. So whether it comes down where we come to the event, put up a big show and everything, they want to be in the public also.
Yeah.
And we raise the venue for them to be able to see thousands of people at one time.
And where else? Because when you do this, you create a platform for a celebrity to come in to meet and greet with thousands of people that normally they wouldn't see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and if they're out of the limelight for a while, they can easily go back in and go and sign the autographs, meet with the people, get out there, get some media attention. And now this year, your 10th anniversary, the biggest of them all. And I've been to a few of your events, and every time it gets better and better and better. And it amazes me because people just keep, your list keeps growing, and the attendees keep growing, and the seminars keep growing, and everything keeps getting more and more intense to the point that, when it's hard to pack everybody in there.
Yeah, we have it down to a science already, so we're pretty well-oiled machine, if you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still a lot of work. The celebrities are great. I've done some new things this year. We're having our trade show and the seminars. We have 24 seminars by, some of the world's best martial artists. Some of the celebrities I just named will be doing seminars at the event. We have a trade show again with about 45 vendor tables. And then we have the banquet, and something I added on this year, at the end of the banquet, we have all the celebrities coming out into the hallway for a second cocktail hour, if you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And this will be set up for the celebrities to come out and meet and greet. Last year we did it small. We didn't do it too big. And the people who were out there, such as Joe Louis, he was mobbed. He had hundreds of people just wanted to talk to him, to shake his hand, so on and so forth. So it was a great event that way. We kind of put it together where people were, how do you explain? It was a wonderful feeling.
They feel like they're part of an extended family. When they go to your event. And just so that our listeners understand a few things, how quickly can an event like this sell out?
Well, it can sell out very fast. We've had years where we set this whole thing up, and within no time we were just completely filled. Completely filled.
Well, I can imagine. Because our listeners need to understand that there are no scalpers. There's no StubHub that can resell these tickets. So especially for the dinner ceremony, you have to get your tickets beforehand, or there's just not going to be any room. I know, and maybe a lot of people don't realize this. Maybe if they read your magazine, they do understand. But I'm going to say it, that your ceremony brings in anywhere from 1,400 to 2,000 people. 1,400 to 2,000 people in a ceremony.
Yeah.
That's like unbelievable. That's up there with the Oscars.
It's a football field. We were actually, I was told by Joe Piscopo, it's as big as the Golden Globes. So.
Yeah. So, I guess this would be considered, I'm going to quote you, or not quote you, but quote what I've heard from other people, that they consider this the Oscars of martial arts.
Well, we like to call it the Academy Awards of Martial Arts, because Oscars I get sued for. So
okay, so no Oscars. We don't want to infringe on any registered trademarks.
Right.
Okay, so now, how many tickets are available to the public to purchase?
Right now, we're close to about 5 months out, and we only have about 500 tickets left.
And that's out of what, about 2,000?
Actually, our max for the banquet is 1,400 and change. The trade show holds about 2,000 people. Okay,
so for that, for the banquet, you're about 2/3 of the way there, and you're about 5 months out.
Yeah.
So you can get sold out by Halloween for all intents and purposes.
I hope so.
Yeah,
it looks that way.
Yeah.
Every time I put it out, it kind of surprises me.
Yeah, well, I think you are going to be oversold.
I think this year being the 10th anniversary is going to bring a tremendous amount of people that we didn't expect to have, and the more the merrier for me. But also the more work I have to do too. So.
Yeah, but it's a labor of love.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. Let me ask you something, just so our listeners understand this too. What are the prices for a table, and what are the prices for an individual ticket to the banquet and to the earlier seminars?
Well, the trade show, it's just $25 to get into the trade show with all the seminars free.
So all the seminars, each and every seminar from Joe Louis to Don Wilson, that's all free.
100% free as long as they come
25
into the trade
for
show.
$25. Where are you gonna get that?
I know.
You can't even go out for lunch with your friends.
I do have people complain about that, believe it or not.
You have people complain about $25?
Yeah, why am I charging to come into the door? But that's another story for another time.
Oh, people just don't see. It's amazing. You put a gift in front of them, and they still question it. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It amazes me sometimes, very honestly. But, it is what it is.
Okay, well, now the banquet. Let's go to the banquet. What are the prices for a table and for an individual ticket?
Well, we have a thing called a VIP sponsorship program. If people come, 10 people come, 9 pay, and comes up to $1,125. Mm-hmm. They get all the free passes also for the trade show and banquet. And one person comes for free.
Okay. And an individual ticket, if someone...
Individual is $125.
$125, all right. All right, so now let me ask you this, because I know our listeners are they're interested in this part, because they need to get the whole story of what's going to happen from the time they get there. What can an attendee expect on Friday? I know that you're looking to do this. Nothing is concrete, but I have a feeling it will be, that you're looking to film a documentary of this historic event. And that would probably start on Friday. So would the attendees that come early on Friday, would they have the opportunity to be filmed and be a part of this history?
Yeah, we have a thing called our improv party, which will be Friday night at the big fountain in the Tropicana. Okay. And again, I didn't say before, but we are running the largest showroom in Atlantic City, the Tropicana Hotel. 4 city blocks of just restaurants and partying. And what basically happens is everyone meets down there, and I come out and say hello to everyone. We talk a little bit. Last year, we had over 500 people showed up in the lobby there and the bar and just talked for a couple hours, and then everyone separated in their own groups, and it was phenomenal. I mean, I couldn't believe the energy that was there. So, even though I don't say that I put that together, it's something that we put together as a group, and it worked out very well last year. So we're pushing it even more this year.
Where else can you go to an event and hang out and have dinner or have drinks with the likes of Bill Wallace or Chuck Zito or Phil Morris or any of these guys, or even Jeff Speakman? He's going to be there this year. Where else can you do that? You can't even get into the Ivy in L.A.
I know.
to go meet someone. So, this is a unique opportunity for anyone to come down and meet and greet. And I know that I'm pretty sure of this, as you said, that as you move forward, it's just going to continue to increase.
Yeah, and I do like the camaraderie that does build every year. I may be just the orchestra leader, but everyone else is playing in the band. Let's put it that way.
Oh, that's a good way to look at it. Now, on Saturday, you have the seminars, you have the trade show. Now, what listeners need to know is that, and I know that you don't really push this, but I'm going to say it, that you're going to have a massive celebrity autograph session going on.
Mm-hmm. Well, we do have that during the daytime, and we have some photograph booths. People can take photographs. And then on secondary, we have at nighttime, we set up, again, after the banquet, where the celebrities will be out there signing autographs, taking photos also. So anyone that doesn't have a picture with Cynthia Rothrock, they can come get one.
Yeah, they can go sit in the booth and they can take a picture with her, and they can get an autographed picture with any of these martial arts celebrities. It's amazing. I mean, I just don't know, unless you're on a movie set, I don't understand how anyone's going to get this done, because you have these celebrities coming from all over the country, and you also have MMA fighters that have come to your event, like the Shamrocks, like Frank Shamrock. I believe Ken Shamrock came one year.
Well, Frank was there, Dan Severn again, and we've had quite a few others that show up. Actually, this year we even have some guys from the WWE, the wrestling industry, is coming in. Okay. But I can't mention their names yet because we didn't finalize it on paper yet. So. Okay,
well, that's going to be big too. So all you wrestling fans out there that want the chance to meet some WWE stars, you have to come on down. Now on Saturday night, this is the coup de grace of the whole weekend. Can you tell us about the ceremony? I mean, paint the picture that when someone's in there, because I can sit and paint the picture, but I think our listeners want to hear your words when somebody walks in there, because I know the feeling when you walk in there. It's like, holy crap. It's like going to 20 weddings at the same time.
Yeah, I said, you ever go to a Jewish wedding where we have 9 of them going on at the same time?
Yeah, you walk in, you have, it's amazing because you have your the celebrities that are on, they're in front, and you have all the tables around, but you have so many people there, and it's a pretty much a black tie affair.
Yes, black tie affair. We have the trophies, the awards given out. We even have to help such people as James Lou and Don the Dragon will help us give the awards out. And it's just a great feeling when people can come down and see, take a photo with these people, giving them an award too.
And
we have a photograph area also. I mean, we have a lot of things going on the whole night. We have music, dancing. We actually have a comedian comes up and does a few minutes for us too.
Oh, see, well, I'm sure Joe Piscopo is going to be happy to have a night off.
Yeah. We have, the gentleman I have is Hank Garrett, who I became very good friends with. He was in many movies over the years, and this guy's got 25, 30 movies on his belt. And he was originally in Car 54, and the guy he's just a hoot. He gets up there and he has everyone laughing like crazy.
Yeah, that's great because you're providing entertainment, you're providing a platform, you're providing anyone that is involved in martial arts in any way, shape, or form. I don't care if you're a teacher, you're a student, you're a supplier, just to network. Well, you can never network with this group of people, ever.
No, and you know something, and there's not one frown in the room. There's everyone. You may occasionally you'll get a guy that decides that he wants to be a celebrity also, and those kind of people we just ignore because our celebrities don't even consider themselves celebrities. So that's how I look at it. I tell everyone it's a plain story. Everyone in my room is equal, except for me, because I'm your host that night, and I'm here to work for you.
And then that's a good way to look at it. But that shows your humble side, and that always amazes me.
Well, I try to do the right thing because you can't get crowds like that if you're going to be, choose the word. you know what I mean. I don't really want to say it.
I know. I think everybody knows that's hearing this. But the long and short of it is that this is an event that should not be missed. I had Christine Bannon Rodriguez. I had her on the line about a week ago.
She's a great girl. She also comes to the event with her husband all the time too, and they're one of our celebrities also.
Yeah, and she spoke so highly of the event and of you and everything else. But I never expect anything different when I mention your name to anyone of substance in martial arts, because it's not a situation where Alan Goldberg is this, that. No, Alan Goldberg is a great guy. He is always, I mean, you're a staple in the martial arts community. You are a leader, a true leader in the martial arts community. And but still, again, I keep sounding redundant, but it amazes me that you don't push that on anyone, because you are just like everyone else, and that is even better.
That'll be the downfall the day you start pushing it, though. That's what happens.
Yeah, well, that's what happens to a lot of people when they, even with having this show, and I'll just speak frankly, we have, we approach certain people to come on the show, and it just amazes me when their reaction is a lot less than yes. It's like,
well, an old saying, who the important people are that are on your show? The ones that are on your show, not the ones that don't want to be.
Exactly. That's why they're asked once and not again, because there are people that do appreciate it. And same thing with your event. The people that go appreciate it, and the people that don't go will bark, but they just miss something they can never repeat in their life. I mean, that's what it comes down to. Now, Alan, is there anything else that you want to talk about or plug? Because at this point, the floor is yours to do so.
Well, a couple other projects I'm working on right now. I'm working something with the American Gladiators. I also have another program up called YFNcable.com, which we have 57 Kung Fu movies up there for people to see. There's a lot of other little projects I'm working on, and as time goes on, I'll update you. Okay. If you have me back on, I'll let everyone know what we're doing.
You have an open door to be here, Alan. Now, I want to give our listeners some information that they must have. So I would advise you to get a pen. To get your tickets, and you can correct me, Alan, at any time, to get your tickets for the Action Martial Arts event, just go to www.actionmagstore.com.
Correct.
And they can use PayPal there, right?
Right, or they can call me in my office, and I'll work it that way for them, too.
Okay, you want to give that number?
Sure, it's 718-856-8070.
All right, so that's 718-856-8070. Okay. All right. And also, students that want to nominate their martial arts teachers for recognition of the Hall of Fame, they can actually go to the website and do that as well, right?
Right. Again, they can call me too. I'm a very friendly person.
Okay, good. And your official website is www.alangoldberg.net. That's where you have all your information as far as who you are, and what you've done. A lot of pictures, and I think that when people do go to the site just to read about you, that don't know you, they will be impressed, because outside of the world of martial arts, it's interesting how little by little, maybe lot by lot, that you are actually going more mainstream in society with what you do, and it's not by force; it's just by nature taking its course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. I never thought I'd be in this position I am now, but I have to thank God that I'm here and just keep pushing.
I think that it's going to be an amazing event, and anyone, as I said, anyone that doesn't attend that's involved in martial arts, you are cutting off your nose to spite your face. If you just make it a point, you have enough time to make plans to go and be a part of history. Alan, I want to thank you so much for taking time for this interview. It was an honor. It was insightful. I know that this 10th anniversary event is going to make martial arts history, and I, for one, plan on being a part of it. I wouldn't miss it for the world.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you having me on your show, and we'll go from there. Thank you for everything.
All right, thanks, Alan. That Alan Goldberg is such a great guy. Keep in mind, let me just mention the websites again. That's actionmagstore.com, and his official website, his personal website, is alangoldberg.net. And again, I'm going to sound redundant here, but anyone that's involved in martial arts, I don't care whether you're a student, a teacher, a master, a grandmaster, whatever your affiliation is, your title is, whatever it may be, trust me, you want to be here. If you are a celebrity and you're involved in martial arts, don't sit there and look for someone to pay to bring you in. Okay, come in and meet and greet with your fans. Take the opportunity, because this only happens once a year, and the 10th anniversary only happens once. So that's it. And that's it for this edition of UCW Radio. We'll be back with you with some more new and exciting interviews with some great people. And actually, anyone that comes on this show, we consider great. We hold them in the highest regard. And we look to have more and more of them as we move along. And that's about it. Until next time, this is Lou with UCW Radio.
Initiating shutdown sequence.
What is your major malfunction?
So let it be written. So let it be done.
Ladies and gentlemen, my mother thanks you, my father thanks you, my sister thanks you, and I thank you.